All right, our Week 8 coverage preview for college football. All right, first we have number 7 Penn State Nittany Lions, 6-0, perfect so far, taking on the number 3 Ohio State Buckeyes, also 6-0, also perfect. Ohio State's favored, moneyline negative 185, so a slight favorite coming in. Over under 46.5. Seems kind of low for a college game for me. What do you think, Christian? Oh yeah, he's still not here. That's cool. So look, the Penn State Lions have the best passing defense, allowing the fewest first downs. They also are top 10 in points scored per game. The Ohio State Buckeyes defense is just as good. But Ohio State shouldn't have as many running back issues this week. I believe Ohio State's going to win. I don't know much about college football. Christian's generally better at college football picks than I am. But I will say, Christian thinks Penn State's going to win. So maybe I don't know anything. I do know that Ohio State's the ranked 3 team, and Penn State has a very good defense. So we'll see. Now, we don't cover all the college games or all the NFL games or all of the UFC fights. We cover either our favorites or just the main cards or really whatever we're feeling. The second game we have to cover, number 17 ranked Tennessee Volunteers, 5 wins, 1 loss. That loss is against the Florida Gators, taking on the number 11 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. 6 wins, 1 loss. That loss is against the Texas Longhorns. Alabama's favored, minus 350 money line with an over-under 45.5 points. Alabama's also favored to win by to cover 8.5 points. Alabama's 4-0 in the SEC. They're not playing the best in the quarterback position or their defense, but they've just, managed to only lose that one game. Tennessee's team beat Alabama last year, but lost a bunch of important components in the offense. At least that's what the Google's telling me. I believe Alabama's going to win this game. Christian still has no verbal opinion because, once again, he's not here. But he agrees. He thinks Alabama is going to win. I don't know if it's going to be a defensive game, but I do think that Alabama is going to move to 7-1. All right, for our next game, we have the number 16 Duke Blue Devils, plus 425. They have 5 wins, 1 loss. That loss is against the Dame. Just kidding. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Over under 49 on that game. They're going to be playing a football game against the number 4 ranked Florida State Seminoles. They're perfect 6-0 in their season. They're favored to cover 13.5 points. Minus 600, money line. Duke hasn't allowed more than 14 points in their wins this season. They've run the ball for an average of 198.5 yards per game. Florida State is 12th in yards per rush at 5.5 yards per carry, and still undefeated in their season. They have a more high-powered offense here. I think FSU is going to win. Christian agrees that FSU is going to win. It's just a matter about by how much. I'm a betting man, but I don't understand college football betting, and I can't seem to get a handle on it. I'm going to just go ahead and pick FSU. Christian's going to back me, picking FSU as well. Moving on to our next game for college football is going to be the Utah Utes, 5-1 so far, only losing to Oregon State. And they're playing the USC Trojans, 6-1. They lost last week to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. USC is favored by 7 with an over-under of 56, kind of showing that this is going to be a higher scoring game than any other one I've talked about so far. USC is favored with a money line of minus 250. I believe Caleb Williams is going to be the first overall draft pick in next year's draft, but it doesn't mean that Utah can't win this game. USC's defense is not very good, so if they can find that ability to give Caleb Williams some pressure, I think he's going to make some mistakes. I think he could throw a couple picks. Now, I'm not betting against him. I'm not picking against him. I think USC is going to win. But if the Utah Utes are going to win, they need to stop Caleb Williams just like Notre Dame did last week. USC's defense is not very good. They allow 30 points per game. You can't have that if you're going to win a national championship. It just won't work. All right, so the last game we're going to be looking at, or I guess the last game I'm going to be looking at, y'all going to be listening to, will be the Clemson Tigers taking on the Miami Hurricanes. Clemson is 4-2. They lost to Duke and Florida State. Florida State's a respectable loss. They're a powerhouse this year. And Duke is playing for Florida State this week, so that'll be interesting. Hurricanes lost to Georgia Tech. They fumbled when they should have just knelt and lost and won the game, but they lost. They also lost to the Tar Heels last week. Not a bad loss there, just, they got beat. Clemson's favored in the money line, minus 175 with an over-under of 48.5. So it kind of is a guess, really, of who's going to win this one. Clemson's lost some tough games. Florida's lost some tough games to Georgia Tech and to North Carolina. I think Miami losing back-to-back games, but for totally different reasons, shows that, that they're not on the wrong track. They have some coaching errors. But what does that leave your players with? Are they going to trust the coaches? I don't know. Clemson has a middling offense and a middling defense. I honestly think either team can win this one. Christian thinks Clemson is going to win. I honestly think the Hurricanes are probably going to win. I don't think they're going to lose 3 in a row, especially to a Tigers team that, they haven't had a great passing attack. They haven't had a great rushing attack. Like I said, middling offense, middling defense. But that's also the problem for the Hurricanes. Billy Napier's probably on the hot seat here. He needs to figure it out. He doesn't have all the time in the world to get a good Florida team, built. Clemson, this is their team to beat. Stick around. We have a couple more things to knock out today. We have the NFL Week 7. We'll be talking about a few games. I'm going to do a modified top 5, and I'll close it up with whatever I feel like doing. All right, kicking off our NFL football Week 7 preview, we have the Detroit Lions. They're 5-1 so far. They're taking on the Baltimore Ravens, 4-2 so far in the season. Baltimore has a spread covering 3 points at home. Over under 42. Baltimore money line of minus 6.5. Lions plus 140. Lions have been on fire this season. Amon-Ra St. Brown as well as Jared Goff and Aiden Hutchinson on the defense. Baltimore has been solid, but they keep dropping the ball. The receivers need to get hands to win these close games. I think the Lions are going to win here. That combination with Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown is opening up the rushing lanes for the team. And also the miscues with the Ravens. I don't think you can fix that in a week. I don't think the receivers are just going to miraculously start catching the passes that Lamar Jackson is now throwing accurately. So having to lean on Lamar to run the ball so heavily, I think that's going to be the crutch that a better defense with somebody who tracks the ball well like Aiden Hutchinson, I think that's going to prove that the Lions are going to win here. I think the Lions being plus 140 is, a big gambling corner love triangle. I'm putting all the money I have on Lions to win this game. Christian's taking the Ravens, so we're split up on a bunch of picks this week, probably a bunch of bets. I'm excited to see where everything goes. Like I said, I'm taking the Lions. Christian's taking the Baltimore Ravens. All right, so next we're going to be looking at the Buffalo Bills, 4-2 so far, versus the New England Patriots, 1-5. Bills have been very good. They lost some close games. They lost last week to the Jets, which that sucks just overall. Stephon Diggs has stayed very, very reliable, but Josh Allen has not found his last season form or his groove yet for this season. He's played well, just not Josh Allen well. The New England Patriots have been absolutely abysmal. Mac Jones has been bad. They've had a couple highlights, but they have not been winning games. Their defense has not been good. Honestly, the whole team has just been surprisingly bad. The Bills have a spread here of -8.5, over under of 41.5. I think the Patriots are probably going to cover that spread, but I think the Buffalo Bills are going to win. -400 of the Bills money line, plus 310 is the Patriots. I think don't even worry about the Patriots winning this game, especially with the Bills losing last week. I think they're going to right the ship, come back and win. I think the Patriots are easily one of the worst teams in the league, and this is not something that we could expect from Bill Belichick. It must have something to do with that lighthouse that they, just built in the stadium. Honestly, everything mixed with a middling rushing team, middling rushing from James Cook, all his options. Nobody really standing out there and just making the rushing field their own. I think that's been one of the Bills' problems. I still think the Bills are going to win here, but they have some things to figure out before they'll be able to compete with teams like the Miami Dolphins, the Chiefs, the Eagles, even though the Chiefs haven't been playing as well as they could be. All right, so we have another fun one now. We have the Los Angeles Chargers. Lost last week to the Cowboys in a tough game. Another defensive game for the Cowboys. Great showing by them. Taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. They're 5-1. They beat the Broncos last week. Terrible Broncos team. Don't know what's going on with Sean Payton and Russell Wilson over there. Kansas City's favorite to win. -250 money line. Chargers with plus 200 dog here. Over under 50 points. This could be one that could be very high scoring. If it were last season, honestly, football's been a little weird this season. A lot of the superstars that we're used to seeing just haven't really shown themselves so much. Like Patrick Mahomes only scoring 19 points against the Broncos. Very, very weird. Kansas City has a 5.5 point spread here. I think the Chargers could easily, not easily, but they could definitely cover that spread. Justin Herbert has always had trouble with comebacks. With Patrick Mahomes not playing to his usual caliber, I think it leaves the Chiefs in a significantly vulnerable position that they're not used to. And that's not just against the Chargers. That's against every team so far this season. And I believe if Justin Herbert can score early, that's his best shot to win this game. He's not the comeback kid. He's not the fourth quarter clutch guy. He has to get ahead early to win games, and that's fine. The Chiefs' defense have allowed some of the highest points per game so far this season. So, if the Chargers were to win, that's their method to victory. Scoring early, and I know it sounds dumb, scoring. Yeah, you have to score to win. But I'm talking about marching down the field, making a statement against a team that has let up points already. You do that first, you force a couple stops, you get ahead, you can beat the Chiefs. Although, I still think the Chiefs are going to win. Christian agrees. He thinks the Chiefs are going to win. It's hard to bet against somebody like Patrick Mahomes, who, in any point of the game, it seems like he can just turn around and throw 3 touchdowns if he needs to. Alrighty, so second to last, we have Jimmy Garoppolo's Las Vegas Raiders, 3-3 so far, taking on the Chicago Bears. Pretty bad so far. Justin Fields, 1-5. Raiders have a 3-point spread favoring them, over and under 37.5 points, begging for this to be a no-scoring game. Moneyline favorites, 160 Las Vegas Raiders. The Bears, plus 135 dogs. Justin Fields currently has a dislocated thumb. I don't know what that means as far as how he can throw the ball or handle a ball, but I know your thumb is used for gripping things. Both teams have below average offenses and defenses, but they also shine at times. Like Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, Justin Fields, you need to get the ball in those guys' hands or keep the ball I guess in Justin Fields' hands, he needs to get the ball in his receivers' hands. But those guys need to be able to control the game, control the ball to win this game. I think the Bears are going to win here. Christian agrees the Bears are going to win. They put up a strong performance against the Vikings, who were especially bad this year last week. And I think those kind of things, just kind of letting Justin Fields play are the keys to victory for this game. The Raiders barely beat the Patriots. Of course, Josh Jacobs being a highlight on that team, Jimmy Garoppolo being a game manager. It's not easy. It's not going to be an easy game for either team. I could definitely see this breaking the over of 37.5. But with bad defenses, I feel like they could definitely play up to this game, and it could easily be a 17-10 type score. Last football matchup I'm taking a look at today, we have the Miami Dolphins, 5-1. They beat the Panthers last week, 42-21. Taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, also 5-1. They lost to the Jets last week, 20-14. That was a very poor showing from the Eagles. Jalen Hurts' tush push finally got stopped. I'm sure a lot of people were happy about that. I really don't care one way or the other. With the Eagles playing bad, I'm honestly surprised the Dolphins aren't favored here. They're plus 105 on the money line, with the Eagles being minus 125. It's an over-under 52.5. Both teams let scores happen. I mean, the Panthers scored 21 on the Dolphins, and they're 0-6 now. And the Eagles proved that they're going to let the Jets score touchdowns on them. So everybody can score in any game. Philadelphia's got a line of minus 1.5. Once again, I think the over is going to hit here. Tyreek Hill only needs 186 yards to break 1,000 receiving yards for the season. He could do that in week 7, but it's more likely that he'll do that by week 8. He's on a historic pace right now. And honestly, Jalen Hurts looks to brush off the loss against the Jets and make the Dolphins have a shootout against him. I think the best way that either team wins is using their high-powered offense to their advantage. The defenses aren't what's going to win the games here. I think getting the ball in the hands of Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, for the Eagles, Smith, everybody, Smith and Brown. Everybody here is going to need the ball. We're going to have a high-scoring game. I pick the Dolphins. Christian picks the Eagles. Let's see what happens.